Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Okay, hola, bon dia. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal live stream, a special one this morning for the 31st of January 2026 as we continue with the aftermath of Storm Kristin here in Portugal. The main topics I want to include, share with you, cover this morning are whether you need help. This will be a focal point for requesting help, and just actually before I came on air, a really good offer of help in Leiria from our friend John Wood from Valwood over there, who's been doing emergency repairs. He's a builder, of course, and he's been doing emergency repairs. If anybody in Leiria, the epicenter perhaps of much of the devastation and destruction here in Portugal, John is available to help, and he's offered that help and other ways of receiving help, asking for help and offering help that I've come across, also sharing this morning. Obviously, we are the Gumpers of Good Morning Portugal, and it's good to be able to check in with a focal point. Let us know you're okay as well. You can do that in the chat. My number is 913-590-303. I will put that on the screen as well. So let's make sure we stay connected. I think it's quite important from a morale point of view. The weather outlook, talking of morale, bad weather is continuing here in Portugal. Perhaps not as bad, thankfully, thank goodness, but more rain is forecast. So we'll take a look at the weather forecast, the weather outlook. And of course, as the weather continues to, I suppose, hamper recovery and putting things right, we need to be able to prepare ourselves for that, and further possible outages of power and internet, and look at how we can be better prepared in the face of that, and in the short term, medium term and long term. It's definitely an issue for us. We were out for 2 days here, so we want to investigate and share intel really on the best backup systems, Starlink, these sorts of things that can help us stay connected at difficult times such as this. Good morning to you, Sarah, seeing you already checking in. All good here. So glad you're okay, Carl. Yeah, absolutely, Sarah. Good to see you are as well. Thank you for checking in this morning. We'll probably do this tomorrow morning as well, and we'll do something every morning whilst we're in this state of calamity. We'll also look at that, actually, what that means, because it's pretty profound. This was a phrase, of course, that came up during the pandemic, this state of calamity, which we've returned to for the district of Leiria, where I am. Thankfully, we experienced as a family and as a home 48 hours of no power and internet. But apart from that, in pretty good spirits and pretty fortunate, really. And yes, life goes on, doesn't it? As you can see, I have a cat joining me, shaking the table, shaking the camera. Life goes on for the creatures. So yeah, I've got Marshall the cat joining me, who you'll see in just a moment. Actually, let me put him on my lap before he causes some serious chaos here, which he loves to do. So yeah, it's nice to see in a way, isn't it, that life goes on. Marshall, come on, behave yourself. Come and have a little fuss with me whilst we're doing the live stream this morning. I've got most of my notes gathered together at the Portugal Club in one place. One of the problems I've seen is there's a lot of information, and you see something, and like, where was that, on which platform, how long ago, and that sort of thing. So I've created something over at the Portugal Club, which I'm pretty sure you can just see if you go there. I'll bring that onto the screen now, and I'll put the link to it in the chat. I don't think you need to even join. If you just want to see what the information is, I think you just need the link. Now, maybe somebody will check that for me, but I think you just need the link to this post, and you'll be able to see the information that I'm going to go through this morning. That's the show that with the live stream that we're doing at the moment, as you can see there, as one of the parts of the post there. So here we are, just after 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, the 31st, and we're looking to see who needs help. Our own community, Gumpers, checking in, having a look at the weather. That's all in this thread, and some discussion about preparedness. I think we only need to be on to cover that information and to check in. I don't think there's any need to stay on for an especially long time this morning. I think the more important thing is to take a look at the weather, share these resources and anything that might appear to be useful, and have a useful discussion about the preparedness, preparation sort of stuff as well, and leave it at that. And as I say, be back again tomorrow. So the state of calamity then, let's go into that first and foremost. Thank you for Paul Rees, our friend Paul Rees from Rural Properties, going into this on Facebook. And now that storm damaged areas of Portugal are officially in a state of calamity, what does this mean? State of calamity in response to storm damage in Portugal means emergency services and civil protection are fully mobilized. Funding and support can be deployed faster should you need support. And we'll look at some of the ways you can request it as well. And I'm absolutely not an authority here. Just doing my best to bring together some sources of information. If you've got better information, please share it. Absolutely. That's the whole, one of the reasons for being here this morning. Damage is assessed and addressed more rapidly in this state of calamity. Legal powers allow use of resources and access to private property for urgent work. So this is an extraordinary time, allowing these extraordinary measures and actions potentially. Public safety measures and infrastructure repairs are prioritized. Foundations are laid for longer term recovery support. State of calamity is used when there is a serious disruption to public safety or health, as we've seen. And I'm not going to go through any more pictures or videos of the horrors of Storm Kristin. I'm sure you've seen those, and we don't need to keep going through that. It is useful, I think, to know where we are as a community, and in terms of, if somebody has a situation they're in and a picture is useful to illustrate that, then by all means. And what's going on that's useful, constructive, positive recovery work, absolutely can share pictures. But there's no point me going through lots more media of what's happened. I think we're pretty clear about that now, aren't we? So the state of calamity is used when there's a serious disruption to public safety or health. Normal administrative powers aren't enough. Rapid and centralized action is needed. So it's a fair shout then, the state of calamity from the government. What powers the government gets during a state of calamity? The government and civil protection authorities can restrict movement, limit travel between municipalities, impose curfews, control access to affected areas, close roads or neighborhoods, order closures, shut businesses or venues, limit opening hours, close beaches, parks or public spaces, suspend events, control activities, restrict construction or agricultural work in high-risk zones, regulate tourism, impose safety measures on companies, requisition property or services. That's what can happen. Authorities can temporarily use private buildings, land, or vehicles for emergency purposes, require companies to provide services or equipment. These are all things you might want to be aware of. The police as well, their enforcement increases in these ways. Police and municipal authorities can stop people to check compliance, fine individuals or premises, close premises, order evacuations, enforce civil protection instructions. Failure to comply becomes an administrative offence and can lead to fines. For ordinary people, you might face travel limits. This is how it affects residents and businesses. Businesses might be forced to close or change operations. Gatherings can be banned. Mask mandates or safety rules can apply. That's a shout back to the pandemic, isn't it? Remote work may be encouraged or ordered. And I mean, for everyone's own safety, it's just sensible, isn't it, to not go too far and to stay indoors whenever possible and keep out of the way of people getting their lives back on track and things being repaired and so on. And no rubbernecking and sightseeing unnecessarily. Construction sites can be suspended in risk zones. This is for property owners and developers. This is why Paul, I think, posted this specifically. Mandatory fire prevention clearing can be imposed. Temporary occupation of land, buildings is possible. Licensing, deadlines or inspections may be frozen or altered. Municipal planning services may operate under emergency rules. Now, bear with a moment. I'm going to give the link to join me on the screen to John. I don't know if he will join me or not, but he has been helping out in Leiria, where, of course, he's from. I'm just sending him that link now to do so, to let us know his offer. He sent me a message. Good morning, Colin. It's been a very chaotic 72 hours since the storm. First and foremost, hope you and your family are safe. We have been providing emergency repairs and assessing damage around the Leiria area. It's total devastation here, as you know. If you're anyone you know need help, please feel free to call me. Talk soon. Abrazos, John. Let me give my number. as a sort of central way of sort of convening that, rather than giving John's number out unnecessarily. So I'll do that in the chat as well. Do say hi this morning if you tuned in. Let us know you're okay. Carl on WhatsApp 913-590-303. If you'll have heard me saying that on many occasions now if you're a regular, but there it is on the or in the comments now if you want to make a note of that. And we will do something. We'll make sure we're checking in at 8 every morning now. Okay, so that includes the weekends, unless for some reason I can't do it. But as long as I've got power and around a studio of some kind, I'll check in, and we can convene and connect at 8 o'clock for the foreseeable future on these mornings. We'll take a look at the weather in just a moment, because that's the problem now, I think, is that there is the cleanup going on, but it's being hampered by poor weather and further poor weather to come, which, I mean, you just need a break, basically, don't we, from this? Oh, there's also a water warning, tap water warning, which we'll go into, which I think is quite useful to know. So make sure you've got a clean drinking water supply and cooking water. A warning has been issued by the DGS. So back to our list here. And I suppose the headlines, thank you to Natasha Don for this. Let me just change what you can see on the screen. Thanks to Natasha, who I spoke to yesterday, of course, the news review of the Portugal Resident. We went into this, and she's written something for the Portugal Resident entitled Very Complicated Week Ahead, bringing together a number of sources. So let's take a look at that now. As a more general picture before we go into some of the specifics of how you can get help and the weather, and some ideas, a discussion, beginning of a conversation, some of the ideas about preparedness and backup for when power goes, or where you've lost power or internet, what alternatives there might be. So very complicated week ahead with lots of rain, particularly in storm-ravaged areas, unfortunately. Minister of Interior Administration faces cameras for first time since Storm Kristin hit. Natasha's certainly surprised that the Minister for the Interior had been quite quiet here, facing a press conference, having a difficult time in front of cameras during the summer wildfires as well. So that's an earlier picture. But now facing cameras with a degree of criticism now being aired by television commentators. The Minister for Interior Administration, Maria Lucia Amaral, finally faced media cameras and microphones early evening to stress warnings given by meteorologists earlier on over further bad weather coming Portugal's way. The ordeal we have been through is not over, she said. No wonder she didn't want to face the cameras. Based on the information we have, everything suggests that from Sunday night onwards, so a worsening. I mean, we were getting what sounded like some serious wind, and there were the flooding has not abated. Or let me put that in a way that's not too alarmist, but the standing water that's flooded the ground around, as far as the eye can see here in San Martino de Porto, is still on the ground. So rain is continuing to top that up. And I've got a link to something I've never seen before, but soil moisture content. All the soil, not oil, or I have to be very careful, don't we, not to be sensationalist, but situation's bad enough without adding to it in any alarmist way. But the Iberian Peninsula, the soil moisture levels are in many places at 100%. So the ground can't take any more moisture, rain, and it's not draining in some places. That's certainly the case around me. So Sunday night onwards, going back to the minister here, as reported by Natasha Don in The Resident, from Sunday night onwards, we will have a very severe weather conditions they're being described as, although it will not be a repeat of what happened before, meaning Kristin and the 100-kilometer-per-hour winds, 100-kilometer-per-hour plus. The bad weather will stretch right through next week and bring heightened risks, she said. This is Maria Lucia Amaral, the Minister for the Interior. As to the widespread criticisms of our lack of visibility since Wednesday's catastrophe, Ms. Amaral conceded that she was responsible for civil protection with great honour, but there is a lot of work to be done in this context in visibility in the office. We have to work on information, reflection, planning and coordination. Well, fair enough. I mean, let's just hope they're getting on with the job. And it's fine, isn't it? I think if all of these press appearances are kept to a minimum, if something useful is going on behind the scenes anyway. The minister's brief appearance this evening has not stopped the criticisms, though, apparently, nor the humorous video clips circulating over social networks showing people looking for Maria Lucia and wondering whether she's been blown to Morocco in Kristin's high winds. So I think a bit of gallows type humor, dark humor emerging. And our culture here in Portugal likes a bit of that, of course, and a way of coping, perhaps. But it did serve to establish that she is holding, the article continues here, a meeting with civil protection on Sunday late afternoon to prepare for whatever the heavy rains forecast might bring. Bear with, I'm going to have a sip of tea here. All of us, society and the state, are in the process of collective learning about the best way to respond to extreme events, she said. And that's a fair point as well, isn't it? I mean, this is an extraordinary situation, and we are all learning as we go into this. In many ways, the power cut of last April 25 was something of a preparation for people who've lost power. And we are in, and for most people, unprecedented levels of struggle and suffering here with the circumstances. And that's what she said then. We're in a process of collective learning about the best way to respond to the extreme events. Again, a comment that didn't go down well with the talking heads on television, showing all suggesting the government has been slow on the uptake. To be fair, Kristin is now being recognised as the worst storm ever to have hit Portugal, and reversing the damage would take any government a great deal of planning. For today, you do have to have broad shoulders in government, don't you? And I think it's fair to say as well, it's not the old days where we can hope for a paternalistic response. It's an extreme situation. Infrastructure, resources are pretty stretched. So I think we have to step up more on a personal, local and collective level, I would say. And not just hope in vain for the grown-ups to step in. We're the people we've been looking for, I suspect, in these situations. As much as we can welcome any help from the government or from the EU. And again, that the news, when you look at it, of how the local, national, and European continental government works together, seems hesitant and awkward. So I think we have to start grassroots and from the ground up. For today, the message essentially is to everyone: don't drop your guard. This is good advice, isn't it? That's what's on the screen here. Don't drop your guard. The worst may be over, but a lot of bad weather is still on the way. That's the message, particularly aiming at the regions of the north and centre already hammered by Kristin. Meteorologist Nuno Lopes has described 160 millimetres of rain throughout the week in the north, and less, but still a lot in the south. It will be a week he classified as very rainy. Is that a meteorological term, I wonder? Today, we hope to bring a list of initiatives and drop-off points for supplies to help people worst affected. Already this site has been created. Now, this is an interesting one, and I shall put this into the comments. Tempestad SOS. Tempestad SOS has been created for people who want to help and for people who need it. Now, a lot of people are wanting to help, aren't they? People who've got themselves back on their feet to some extent now want to turn their attention to helping other people. How exactly that's done is it can be mysterious, and especially so for us foreigners. Here's a start. So if you want to research this and let me know how you get on, you can ask. We'll take a look at it actually whilst we're on this morning. You can offer help as well as ask for help with this site, Tempestad SOS. Good morning to you, John. Looks as we are in for a fourth week straight of 100% rain for most of the country. That would appear to be the case, John. Bon dia, Malta. Clear day ahead, so planning to make the most of it. Yeah, this is a good day then, I think you're suggesting there, Andy, for clearing up and preparing for more rain whilst it's a little drier, relatively drier today, Saturday, 31st of January. Thank you. Keep those comments coming, if you will. So there you go. Basically then, a very complicated week ahead with lots of rain, particularly in storm-ravaged areas already hit. And the Minister for the Interior Administration has come out to basically give that message and to not drop your guard, and to keep alert and prepare for more rain. So let's see what else we've got. Let's go back to that Portugal club link, see what else is there. May take a further look at Tempestade SOS as well. Let me come back to that link there. Have another sip of tea while we're doing that. A new storm is expected this weekend. That's the Portugal news coverage as well. So they're reporting the same thing. New storm is expected this weekend. And I reiterate that this is not thought to be worse than the storm we've just experienced, Kristin, but a continuation of poor weather. And I've got quite a few screenshots of weather sites that are reporting this, and you'll have your favorites, and perhaps you could share them as well. It could be quite useful. Tempestade SOS then. Here we go. This is the site. I wonder if that's come up for you. Oh, no, it hasn't. Let me just make sure we've got the right screen that we're looking at here. Tempestade SOS. This is a new thing. This has been brought together by, I think, independent groups. They being, as I scroll down to the bottom of this, it looks quite useful. It looks pretty innovative and multi-featured here, and it's been put together. I will put this. Oh, I'm not able to do that. Oh, yeah, translate to English here, so I can help you better here with this. Community-based platform, it's described as, for post-storm mutual support. We connect people in need of help with volunteers and resources in their area. The volunteer partners are the Not Agency.net, Modelar, BMG Services, and Comunicarze. So it looks like a group of companies that have come together, and of course they're reiterating here. 112 is the emergency number. It is different to where you're from, possibly. 112 is the number you should know for injuries, risk of collapse, as they're saying here, fire or flooding with danger. If there's an emergency, these are good actually. These safety first rules here. Let's just dwell on these for a moment. Bear with a minute. I hope you didn't hear that. For agencies, call 112 in the case of injuries, risk or collapse, fire or flooding with danger. There are meetings in public places, and this has been the case for us, especially in San Martin de Porto. The Bombeiros were amazing as ever, and this is where you might find yourself having a public meeting. The obvious places to go, perhaps. Maybe not obvious, but Bombeiros, they certainly, where we live, had a charging station there. You could go and you could sit. I mean, connecting with people is really important as well. You know, if you've had hours, days, what might turn into weeks of wet weather, and being at home in a damaged home, it's good to get out of that environment occasionally and connect with other people, have a cup of tea or coffee, have something to eat. In a more local and public place, get a bit of company. So fire stations, parish councils, the Junta de Freguesia, supermarkets, safe places to gather. Protect your data. Never share codes, passwords, or bank details still in this situation. And loans of generator, power banks, please arrange via message. So that's a poor translation, I think, there. But that's part of what this is about. You can request a power bank here at Tempestade SOS. Who created the movement? This project was created by the same people who launched Portugal Without Flames and other solidarity movements that united millions of Portuguese people. And there they are, great organizations that are doing this good work. So let's have a bit more of a scroll through to see what's going on here. Do you need help? Do you want help? We make the match. That's what this site is about. After a storm, the most urgent thing is to get the essentials: power, water, communication, shelter, and transportation. Call for help within 2 minutes or offer support, and we'll connect you with people in the same area. Excellent work. If this is working in the way that is envisaged. I might have to refresh this because all the place names have now been translated as well. The White Castle, of course, Castelo Branco. So it lists the active alerts. I'm glad to see this. This is much easier to understand and decode the many complicated weather sources. That's no criticism, because obviously at times we do need the richer picture. But this is nicely set out here with alerts for snow, maritime agitation, high tides, well, tidal activity, and rain as well, and flooding. So you can see whether you've got yellow or orange alerts. Thankfully, nothing red currently. And we're seeing familiar picture, aren't we, with Leria and Vezio. I did see Vezio with some pretty awful landslides and things going on there. But it's all over the country, isn't it, in places? Guarda, Castelo Branco, Aveiro, Lisboa. You'll see the various warnings here, and further drop downs of other alerts as well. Useful links, there they are. I wasn't aware of InfoAgua, the APA. There's a useful link. IPMA, the ANEPC, that's civil protection, is it not? And water monitoring as well, I'm guessing. I've not seen that before either. That's useful. Monitorización hídrica. Let's just translate that. Can you hear me coughing when I press that button? I hope not. So weather in Portugal then, that's useful too, is it not? Look, current weather, and that'll give you an idea of what space you have in the weather conditions to crack on with repairs, get out, help people, tidy up in your locality as well. That's pretty useful. Good site as far as I can see here. A movement of people on a case-by-case basis, and we need shares to reach more people. Well, we're doing our best here. You can share it yourself there. How it works. Choose, ask for help or help others. It's up to you. Tell me what you need or what you offer, whether it's energy, batteries, power banks, generators, internet. And I saw a lovely message on one of my local WhatsApp groups. Somebody had 4 power banks that they didn't need to use, so they made them on offer. You know, they were prepared to drop them off to people. This is what's going on at the moment. Automatic match. We'll try to connect you, step 3 here, with someone near you, and you will receive a message to arrange a place and a time so that you can connect with that person safely. Isn't that amazing? There is a storm map as well, which shows the levels of greatest activity. It's a picture of Portugal, and activity by district as well. So lots going on in Leiria, some in the capital, and you can see here. Right, I'm going to cut over to John now, who's been helping people. Yes, the digital handkerchief. So, okay, that's working. Good to know that. Let's bring John onto the screen. Hi, John. Thanks for joining us this morning, and great to get your message this morning. So, how's it been for you in Leiria? Crazy, right?
It's been a very busy 72 hours. We've been trying to help people as best we can, assess damages, doing minor repairs and water mitigation. But it has been difficult at best with the situation.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about this morning. The rain's going to continue as well, and it's going to worsen once more tomorrow, Sunday. You're okay personally? Let's check that first.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good personally. Family had to go to an Airbnb. Everything's kind of up in the air. There's still very little power in Leiria, as far as I know. I've been staying elsewhere because in central Leiria, the power's just been spotty at best. And internet signal has been non-existent across the area.
Wow. Okay. So a first person on the ground report from Leiria then. I mean, the pictures were shocking, weren't they? The football ground, you know, in the middle of town there. It was absolutely devastating to see those images. And you're helping with that. And of course, as I was saying, in the state of calamity, you might be kind of requisitioned. Your help might be requisitioned by the government. That's a possibility at the moment as well, isn't it?
Maybe. I don't know. We've reached out to all of our contacts, asked them if they need anything. Mostly it's been private individuals, some companies, contacts we already had through our remodeling services.
Okay. Well,
right.
I don't want to keep you unnecessarily, John.
As Sunday going into Monday morning.
Yeah, we're struggling to have the connection with you. And I don't want to use up your battery and internet unnecessarily. I just wanted to share the offer you made. If somebody's in a difficulty in Leiria and they need your help, probably the best thing to do, rather than to give out your number willy-nilly, is if people get in touch with me and they need help in Leiria, they can contact me and I can put you in touch with them. Is that all right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If anybody needs assistance, just let me know. We'll do the best we can.
Okay, and we heard of it from our community, the Doc and Leona. We were trying to find out what's gone on with them, because we know they're in Leria. Although the Doc appears to be in the UK at the moment, safe and well, hopefully in the UK. And Leona had a bit of a bad night, to say the least, but she's safe and well.
Good to hear. I haven't been able to reach them. I've reached several other people. I know Steve up at Chumbria had a devastating after effect to the storm, and a lot of people did. I've been through several hurricanes in the US, and this is on par with most level 4 and level 5 hurricanes in Florida. The devastation is immense, but I will say the people have been helping each other and the community's coming together. It's just nice to see neighbors jumping on roofs, fixing little issues that can be fixed, and just the kindness they're showing. It's just utterly amazing. It makes being part of this community worthwhile.
Wonderful. Good to hear that in the adversity, that's what's happening here. As you might have guessed, here in Portugal, right, with Portuguese people, this culture and the neighbours. John, thank you very much for that offer. You stay safe and well, and we'll may check in with you at another time. But preserve your battery and your internet for emergency situations.
Oh, yeah, I'm running out to do work. I'm getting ready to go to several appointments and just trying to keep up with everything coming in.
Good on you, mate. All the best to you. Thank you so much for reaching out to us. Much appreciated.
No problem, Carl. I'm glad to hear you and your family safe as well.
We are. We've been very fortunate, relatively speaking. Yeah, just a couple of days off power and internet. So yeah, we were very, very lucky. And yeah, we're just doing what we can this morning to find out if we can help anyone in a worse off situation. Cheers, John. All the best to you.
Cheers to you, Carl, and everyone watching. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Yeah, in better times, definitely. We'll talk more about affordable housing rather than the absolute basics of shelter, as we are at the moment.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
Take care.
All right.
Care.
Ciao.
Cheers. Right, there's John Valwood, .pt, of course, a remodeler and construction expert, and we talked to him previously about affordable housing and his great plans for Portugal. A spanner in the works, and he's helping out with Storm Kristin around Leiria. So let's go back to this wonderful resource, as John is there, offering his services, and this on a sort of agency basis here. Tempestad SOS. Morning to you, Chris. Good to see you. John's good advice here. Consider a backup generator for emergency situations, especially for providing power for a few days till the municipal power grid is back. Now, John, what I'm going to ask for, if I may, is do you have a make or suggestion? I think, most people are getting to grips with the fact that they need some sort of backup at home, right? No question about that now. The apagão last year in April of 25, this now. And, the noises we were hearing from the government, as though this were anticipated at the highest level to create backups and food supplies, prepping, basically, the once laughed at and conspiracy theorist prepping. We're all preppers now. To some extent. And what I think people need, Mel was saying yesterday, we need the conversations about what exactly to buy, share the intel on what are useful products, what are the reliable products, what products can be used with a solar panel, with a small, we've got sun at the best of times here. Maybe not 300 days, it's as it's turning out. We've got wind power in a lot of places. We're an Atlantic coast, those small wind turbines, if they can drive a power bank. Starlink, which is the best one to get? I still can't find out whether I need the home installation or the backpack one. If I can have the backpack one and use it at home, I will, because then I can move with it or go to a different location. I think we want to share this intel. So perhaps do that on the link at the Portugal Club and share that information. Get it in one place, and we'll create resources to help people buy these products with some confidence, knowing that they're going to be buying something useful. I do really appreciate the metal rolling shutters available in most homes here. It sure beats slapping up boards with hammer and nail, as is the norm in Florida. Absolutely. The downside of those, of course, is when people put their shutters down in the late on Tuesday night, when the power went, they couldn't raise the shutters when light came on Wednesday morning, albeit they probably didn't want to for a little while to stay safe from the lashing rain. But that was a problem, wasn't it? If you didn't have a manual override, I mean, that's a note to self, isn't it? Electric shutters are great, but how about a manual override on those as well? So you weren't, some people were in darkness. They're basically inside their tombs for 48 hours after the electric shutters went down, and they weren't able to get them back up again until the power was restored. So good advice there, John. Thank you very much. Let's share the info, the intel on what are the best products to buy. Blue Yeti, that's a name that's coming up. Starlink is a name that's coming up. I am in touch with the importers of Starlink into Portugal, and they were making quite a song and dance of what, if I got them on the show, what I was going to ask them, because they're bound by contractual obligations, it seems. But I think the company is Sol Mayor. That's a place to start. But we'll get all of these things together in one place. Yeah, that said, it should be mandatory to have manual override for the electric shutters. Well said. Yes. Great minds thinking alike there, John. So the types of help most required here. Let's translate this one. Maybe we can't. Oh, yeah. Okay, perhaps we can. Tarpaulins. There you go. The types of help most requested, to give you an idea: tarps are rated highly, minor repairs, tiling. Yeah, tiling blowing off of roofs. I noticed that the terracotta fared better than slate and metal. Generators. These are not massive amounts, actually. We've got 34 requests. Perhaps this needs sharing further afield, so that more information can be spread about what people's needs are. So do your best to share this, if you will. Plastics, I guess that's for patching up. Water requests as well. I mean, that's something that can be done, can't it? If you've got a water font near you, why not collect additional water to use for yourself or to share while the weather is fairly clement at the moment? Get out there, refill your water levels, because there's been a tap water warning as well. Request for cleanup. I'm going to be doing some of that today. Debris removal, that's part of the same thing. Request for power banks and food. Request for food as well. So if you're at the supermarket and you can fill up an extra carrier bag of some starchy stuff for people who might need that kind of food bank sort of help, tinned food, pasta, rice, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of offers to help. Offers to help are far outweighing, as you might expect in a situation like this. So there you go. There they are. There are the requests that you can actually respond to. That's a great service. That is Tempestad SOS. And I will make sure that you've got that website address, Tempestad SOS, if you need help with the spelling of that. Made with love by the Portuguese. There, Portuguese solidarity in this situation. And yeah, I think we've covered that pretty much, haven't we? Some news as well, actually. They've got a news feed, so I think that's pretty well covered on what looks like a very good resource there. The link to that going into the chat right now. We're here for, I don't want to stay online too long, absolute tops an hour, but here to connect with our community, make sure everyone's okay, receive requests for any urgent assistance. We had a lovely offer from John Wood there of Valwood this morning, and to take a look at the incoming weather. We need to not let our guard down, as has been suggested by the government and the media. Natasha Don writing that further bad weather is incoming from Sunday, tomorrow. Okay, so have a rest. We do need to rest as well, of course. I don't know about you, but it's been as lightly as we were affected in many ways, relatively speaking. It's still quite draining and stressful. So you've got to make sure you rest. You take rest and you rest yourself in the sort of easier, lighter times. Gird your loins and be prepared and rested for further action, which might be needed from tomorrow evening. So let's go back to that list of notes that I've got over there at the Portugal Club that you're very welcome, of course, to take a look at. Portugal and Spain remain in a very precarious weather situation for the weeks to come, in the plural, from Weather Watcher on X. An ongoing extreme weather pattern will keep a saga of Atlantic storms repeatedly impacting Iberia. This might be a translation. I'm already watching our next risk. This is not me, this is them saying this. a risk of strong winds and particularly heavy rain arriving late Sunday night. So February the 1st, watch out for strong winds and heavy rains into the early hours of Monday morning. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will persist in the days to follow from the same disturbance. Wind gusts along the intense frontal system will range between 70 to 90 kilometers per hour across the Lisbon area. So it's going a bit further south where it will be hitting from February the 1st. That's the forecast, with some guidance pushing 100 kilometer per hour winds for a period late Sunday night, very early Monday morning. Winds could be much stronger in northern Portugal into Galicia. Soil is absolutely waterlogged across Iberia. Rivers are swollen and a plethora of storms is yet to come. After a significant system kicks off the new month, a new storm arrives February 3rd to 4th, leading a chain of non-stop atmospheric rivers into the country beyond February the 10th. So it looks like a couple more weeks, at least, of poor weather that we would do well to prepare for. It might not happen, but that's the forecast. And this is, the Iberian Peninsula is waterlogged. Everything's 100% soil moisture. It would appear in the largely across the continent, or this part of the continent. Anyway, in other news, in other news, blood donations are sought in Lisboa, Porto, and Coimbra. So in the big cities, of course, in a situation like this, the request goes out for blood donations. If that's something you want to do, are prepared to do as well there, as reported by SIC Noticias. Interestingly, as an side note, after 58 hours, this was late last night, Storm Kristin's impact in Portugal is still being felt, with power and internet disruptions continuing in some regions. As John said there, patchy in Leiria in the city. Traffic in Leiria is now about 40% lower than usual, and in Santarém about 30% lower. So people are just not getting that access to the internet. It's got to be getting out there and getting face-to-face wherever it's possible and safe to do so for people who've not been able to connect, who do need help. Best weather on X. You can see the picture here. Heavy rain is guaranteed until February the 10th across virtually the entire river basin of the majority transboundary rivers. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like, again, prepare for more rain. Unfortunately, we are expecting significant flooding in the Guadiana, Tagus, Douro, Minho rivers, in addition to the medium and small-sized national basins there. So if you're near a river, make the necessary arrangements. It's going to be wetter, not drier. And Portugal, from weather advisory on X, will continue to be affected by a weather pattern abundant in Atlantic storms. These will carry loads of rain. I don't think that's a technical term, is it? Unless that means loads as in, particular batches of, therefore elevating even more the risk of floods as the rivers are already overflowing. The next storm arrives Sunday, February the 1st. There seems to be a consensus on tomorrow night. Another distinct storm activity tomorrow evening. Now, the DGS, the Directorate General of Health, to share with you here, the Directorate General of Health warns of a risk to water and food safety following Storm Kristin and power outages, recommending caution in consumption, food handling, and sanitation to protect public health. Now, of course, when there's flooding, you're going to get cross-contamination of water, aren't you? The water supply of good water and soiled water, or runoff and flooding, is going to mix, making it less attractive to drink tap water. Now, of course, it has its uses still to flush the sewage system, but be careful cooking and certainly drinking. I wouldn't drink tap water right now. Get bottled water if you can, if it's safe to do so. Get other people to help you with that if necessary, to deliver it to you. If you don't have a vehicle, for example. DGS issued a set of recommendations on Thursday night following the storm that affected several regions of the country in the early hours of Wednesday, causing power outages that persist in some areas still, which could compromise the quality of drinking water and food safety. Situations like this impact the safety of food stored in refrigerators, that of course as well as fridges and freezers, as well as water quality, especially in areas where the supply depends on electrical systems. We cooked up the food basically as it was thawing, get it cooked and extend the life of it that way. To reduce these risks, the health authority calls for the adoption of preventative measures and safe behaviors, such as avoiding the consumption of water from sources that are not connected to the public supply network, such as wells or mines. They may be contaminated. Yes, so stay off the well and mine water. They're advising also the DGS not to drink tap water, wash food, or brush your teeth with it unless there's an official confirmation of its safety, and to use bottled water wherever possible. Their advice then: if you don't have bottled water, boil the water from the tap for 10 minutes before using it, or disinfect it with bleach without dyes, detergents, or perfumes. About 2 drops per litre of water of bleach, they're saying. That's what they recommend. Also advising the population to wash your hands well before handling treated food or water. Okay. Back to our thread here. Yeah, the IPMA forecasting, pretty good as ever. It's in depth, of course, and their forecast extends from February 2nd to 8th. IPMA are expecting a very rainy week across most of the country, especially in the north and the centre. Thunderstorm episodes with possible hail, snow expected in the Australia and extreme north, moderate to strong winds, and strong sea agitation. All of these links are in that thread there as well. I'll make sure you've got that before we go this morning. And please keep it updated with anything you've got as well. This news article, a reflection on the situation here in terms of its relativity to the wildfires. We had the Apagao last year, didn't we? The big blackout and serious fires in 24 and 25. Minister conceding here, damage. Let me just get the right screen on for this so you can see what I'm looking at here this morning on this extra or extraordinary live stream. We'll gather as far as it's possible, and as far as I can, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning as well. Okay, so we can check in with each other. Keep the vibes up as well. Check in, make sure we're all okay, see how we can help each other. Yeah, Minister concedes, Kristin, far greater, the damage caused by Kristin, far greater than recent wildfires. Minister for Economy and Territorial Cohesion, Castro Almeida, admitted today that damage caused by Storm Kristin is significantly greater than the losses recorded in the wildfires of 24-25. And this is before all the data's in, isn't it? I mean, this is an evolving, emerging picture. The news agenda will move on nationally, internationally, to some extent, whilst people will be left dealing with this. Nuno will speak to at some point. I'm sure he's very busy at the moment. Nuno Mendeshov for insurance. All in good time. We'll chat with him and we'll get whatever guests we can on the show for the following week to keep us informed. If you have somebody you think we should speak to, let me know. I was doing my calculations, of course, as I listened to the description of what was being done, and I'm coming up with a figure in my head, but these are very rough estimates. What I can tell you is that the figures are very high compared to the losses caused by the fires of 25 or 24. The minister told journalists during a visit to Leria fire station, which also suffered considerable damages. From today's meeting, I was unable to provide a figure for the amount of damage. The overwhelming majority of local authorities are understandably reluctant to give a figure for the amount of damage in each district. Therefore, it is impossible to arrive at an overall figure as yet. All in good time, but as the information is coming in about the damage, certainly a greater disaster than the fires posed, and that was bad enough, was it not? So that is the picture that's emerging. The main takeaway, I think, this morning is to to rest while you can, while we have relatively good weather, and prepare. The weather headline is that another storm is coming in tomorrow for Sunday night and the early hours of Monday. A generator and a pump, drain rods and a big shovel, and obviously candles, 4 candles at least. Thank you, Andero. Towels and buckets. That's Andy's list there. Generator, pump, drain rods, big shovel, and obviously candles. As the water table is completely overwhelmed, people's cellars will be flooded as well, possibly. And that's what you need the pump for, and the generator to run the pump, and towels and buckets. Bricomarche from John here carries several brands and sizes of generators. My favorites are made by Stanley, and presumably that's part of the fuel, the gas stations, petrol station congestion we've seen. People are buying fuel for their generators, of course, aren't they? As well as filling up their cars, some in a slightly panicky way, blocking up the highway, trying to get into the petrol station to fill up their cars and all their extra canisters so that they can run their generators. Yeah, John, I got the cheapest generator from Brico many years ago. It's still working well. Just drain the fuel out the car before storing. That's a good tip as well, so that you can use it when you need it in an emergency and you're not having to do a repair on your generator. What sort of money are we talking about for a basic generator then that people can buy? It just sounds like high-level DIY stuff for a muggle, doesn't it? Who's never used a generator before. But it sounds like it's fairly straightforward to use. What sort of money are we talking about there, John, just in the last couple of minutes, or Andy, if you would let us know there? And I would like to know more, excuse me, would like to know more about the battery-powered backups. What are you using? What are you finding useful? What an example of that is from let's have a look from my list here. If I go back to the top of this thread of bits of information here, and we have a look at, oh yeah, that was Luzo Meteo saying the same thing basically. Forecast for the next 7 days is clear. Lots of rain, lots of water, and risk of flooding, and will increase dramatically in the aftermath of Kristin. Yeah, Blue Yeti. These are the sort of things. Solar input, 600 watts. This is not the sort of thing that's going to drive a washing machine or heating kettles very effectively for very long. So we need to know what you've got, and are you pleased with it? You know, how you use it, what sort of capacity it has, how long the battery lasts, what sort of appliances you can use with it. Let's share this intel. Some of these have a solar panel built into the top of them, which obviously isn't going to be very big. But ideally, I mean, I'm looking for something that's a unit like this that's portable or transportable on a sack truck. Of course, we did that. We made a little clip, didn't we, with Carl over in Fundau, who's got those amazing rack mountable battery systems that can be powered by solar panels, and an inverter rack mountable as well. So let's look at all of these. We need them now, and compare notes on what you're using and what you found to be useful in this sort of situation. There you go. Yeah, more headlines. Oh, that's another collection point information there. So victims of Storm Kristin, the municipality of Leiria and the Leiria Diocesan Caritas have joined forces in a solidarity mission to support the victims of the recent Storm Kristin. And if you go to Puzos Logistics Center or the Leiria Diocesan Caritas headquarters, that's where you can drop off. If you're in that area, that's where you can drop off supplies for people in need over there. So I'll add this just finally then to the screen so that you can see that and add to it. Just one place where to get, getting all the information in one place, basically. That's on the screen for you now. Have we got a price on that, on a Jenny? Mine was about 50 euros 15 to 20 years ago. Right, okay, just enough to charge stuff, run the fridge freezer, and a light or two. Thanks for that, Andero. Probably looking at what, a couple of hundred now. Stay safe and look out for your neighbors, says Neil Hunter. Good morning to you, Neil. Good to see you here. Great advice, of course. Stay safe yourself. Make sure take care. It's like the air supply on an airplane, isn't it? Make sure you can breathe and that you're safe yourself, and that your immediate surroundings are in good order, and then look out for what you can do for other people. Thank you, Neil, for joining us this morning. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8 a.m. with an update and a point of connection for the community for your information. Typical small portable generator usually runs for 6 to 18 hours on a single tank of gas, with 8 to 12 hours being the most common average. All of this is very useful. Thank you to everyone who tuned in this morning. If you didn't catch this live, it doesn't mean you can't comment or add something useful in the comments or over at the Portugal Club, theportugalclub.com or GIPvip.com, where you'll find this pinned thread, the Kristin update. Please share help requests and useful information. Stay safe, take care, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need